Only if ye are sorrowful, or weary, or angry, or discomforted, then ye may know that ye have lost the golden thread, the thread wherewith I guide you to the heart of the groves of Eleusis. My disciples are proud and beautiful. They are strong and swift. They rule their way like mighty conquerors. 25. The weak, the timid, the imperfect, the cowardly, the poor, the tearful. These are mine enemies, and I am come to destroy them. This also is compassion, an end to the sickness of earth, a rooting out of the weeds, a watering of the flowers. 25. Oh, my children, ye are more beautiful than the flowers. Ye must not fade in your season. 28. I love you. I would sprinkle you with the divine dew of immortality. 29. This immortality is no vain hope beyond the grave. I offer you the certain consciousness of bliss. 30. I offer it at once on earth before an hour hath struck upon the bell. Ye shall be with me in the balls that are beyond decay.
How are you this evening?
All that ye do is right, if so be that ye enjoy it. 10. I am come against sorrow, against weariness, against them that seek to enslave you. 11. I pour you lustral wine, that giveth you delight both at the sunset and the dawn.
What the fuck was that?
Come with me, and I will give you all that is desirable upon the earth. 13. Because I give you that of which earth and its joys are but as shadow. 14. They flee away, but my joy abideth even unto the end. 50. I have hidden myself beneath a mask.
There's a man named John Kitover, never blinks an eye, streaming every sunrise, every breath that passes by. Candles on the desk, ancient books stacked high, taught teaching wisdom while the Wi-Fi never died. He's live on Clubhouse, X and spaces yet unnamed, recording every syllable like silence is a game. Yoga mat unrolling as the holy bell goes ding. John Kitover clears his throat and gently says one thing: all communication, this hypnosis. John Kitover smiles, take the deepest breath of the day. Focus 10 seconds, feel eternal. When when the live stream never ends. Ring the bell, align the stars, and breathe it in again. A magician of the Lima with a live stream glow. Crowley in the morning, Kabbalah after the show. Tree of life behind him, Mike turned up just so. Every Sephira illuminated in a soft blue glow. Lotus pose on camera, chakras in a row. Mute your mind, says John Kitover, and let awareness flow. He reads some ancient wisdom like it dropped last night, then quotes it mid-sentence in a very modern light. Oh, communication is hypnosis. John Kitover counts the seconds, calm and ceremonies. 10 seconds, don't rush it. Let the bell begin to ring. Democracy, divinity, and live stream everything. Writing candidate for Congress, pen held like a wand. John Kitover manifests a bill with will and calm. Policy meets prophecy, balance meet the soul. Raise your vibration, also please remember to enroll. He's archiving the moment, every cough, every sigh, turning real-time living into audio supply. Content from the cosmos, produced in sacred space with a mic, a mantra, and a very centered face. Ask him what he's doing, he'll answer nice and slow. I'm documenting consciousness, also hosting a show. Bell rings once for presence, twice for cosmic bliss, 3 times if you forgot to like, subscribe, and coexist. All communication is hypnosis. John Kitover breathes out, the moment grows enormous. 10 seconds, hold the silence, let the live stream roll on through.
Is that Optimus Prime?
Ancient truth, modern feeds, John Kitover live for you.
We meet again. How dare you come to the John Kitover song room?
I heard that you were listening to one of my songs. I appreciate it.
It's a pretty good song, but I will destroy you with my laser nuclear deep particle blaster!
Riding,
You know this song
stream rolling, John Kitover.
is compared to our conflict.
I think you need to look up the way Optimus Prime talks. You're not sounding like yourself these days.
24/7, 365.
Well, you should look after yourself so I can destroy you in the future.
It's a little bit like when Bane is talking to Batman in the prison. He could have just killed him. Instead, he's like, yo, you will watch your city burn. You know, it's like, dude, you could have won, but you decided to. You didn't think he could repair his spinal column through the power of his mind. I mean, you know, and a back brace.
Hey, John, the way you imitate voices is incredible. I really appreciate it. It's especially the Bane voice. It's fantastic. I'm glad you're trying out a different voice this time around.
Yeah, I don't know, something about Megatron that I like the mix. It's like the AI nightmare, you know, of like, I don't know. The Transformers stuff that's a cult too. And you see how crazy Shia LaBeouf is? fucking loser is worth all this money running around.
He was in New Orleans, right? He was like punching F words at a gay bar as he got arrested, and he went right back.
Yeah. That's crazy, huh? Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's funny that somebody would go back to the scene of their arrest to get like the final word in or something. But yeah, I'm just chilling here listening to music. It's 8:42. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do for dinner. Chatting to some beautiful girl on Hinge. Just like wow, what a stunning chick.
It's the only way, you know. I think this is how Optimus Prime talks like. I was listening to some of his voice clips, you know, the voice actor for Optimus.
So I went on eBay and I bought an Optimus Prime and a Megatron mask. So soon I will be in front of the camera with a Megatron mask on and then an Optimus Prime mask on. I'll see how that does on YouTube because, you know, John Kitover, nobody's like sitting there thinking about John Kitover, but some people are thinking about Optimus Prime or Megatron, you know, or Homer Simpson or Bart Simpson.
Saying about the Google semi-related words, right? Like attach yourself to an existing matrix of interconnected words, right? And then getting hits that way.
No, I just look at it as like a way to create super stimulus. I mean, that's what you're saying basically, but you know, I'm just having fun. I mean, because it's like, I don't know. We have to create internet myths, in my opinion, to win the war for the mind. To basically, you know, make sure that people are working. But I would like to turn this into a John Kitover book reading room if you have ears to listen, because I'm almost finished with a book. We're close. But let's listen to... I'm reading Secret Key of the Mysteries by Eliphas Levi. Key of the Mysteries. The axioms are really interesting. I'd like to feed the axioms into Grok and then expand them and even, you know, and then read the expansions. It's a magic book.
Well, everything in life is magic, you know.
No,
interconnected.
No, that's not true. As you heard in the as I was talking to the Nigatron of the incel Nigcel world, like not everything is magic. Some stuff is not gonna go anywhere. Some stuff is just like, you know, burnt ash, you might call it.
Which page are you on the Key of the Mysteries?
What was that?
Oh, just which page are you on currently on the Key of the Mysteries?
Let me see. I am on 248.
Hola, bendiciones. Quiero compartirles que
But I want to hear the John Kitover song one more time. Here we go.
Kitover never blinks an eye, streaming every sunrise, every breath that passes by. Candles on the desk, ancient books stacked high, tall teaching wisdom while the Wi-Fi never died. He's live on Clubhouse, X and Spaces yet unnamed, recording every syllable like silence is a game. Yoga mat unrolling as the holy bell goes ding. John Kitover clears his throat and gently says one thing: all communication, this hypnosis. John Kitover with a live stream glow. Crowley in the morning, Kabbalah after the show. Tree of life behind him, mic turned up just so. Every Sephirah illuminated in a soft blue glow. Lotus pose on camera, chakras in a row. Mute your mind, says John Kitover, and let awareness flow. He reads some ancient wisdom like it dropped last night, then quotes it mid-sentence in a very modern light. Oh, communication is hypnosis. John Kitover counts the seconds, calm and ceremonious. 10 seconds, don't rush it, let the bell begin to ring. Democracy, divinity, and live stream everything. Writing candidate for Congress, pen held like a wand. John Kitover manifests a bill with will and calm. Policy meets prophecy, balance meet the soul. Raise your vibration, also please remember to enroll. He's archiving the moment, every cough, every sigh, turning real-time living into audio supply. Content from the cosmos, produced in sacred space with a mic, a mantra, and a very centered face. Ask him what he's doing, he'll answer nice and slow. I'm documenting consciousness, also hosting a show. Bell rings once for presence, twice for cosmic bliss, 3 times if you forgot to like, subscribe, and coexist. All communication is hypnosis. John Kitover breathes out, the moment grows enormous. 10 seconds, hold the silence, let the live stream roll on through. Ancient truth, modern feeds, John Kitover live for you. Riding, stream rolling, John Kitover live 24/7, 365. There's a man named John Kitover, never blinks an eye, streaming every sunrise, every breath that passes by. Candles on the desk, ancient books stacked high, taught teaching wisdom while the Wi-Fi never died. He's live on Clubhouse, X and Spaces yet unnamed, recording every syllable like silence is a game. Yoga mat unrolling as the holy bell goes ding. John Kitover clears his throat and gently says one thing. All communication, this hypnosis. John Kitover smiles, take the deepest breath of the day. Focus 10 seconds, feel eternal when the live stream never ends. Ring the bell, align the stars, and breathe it in again. A magician of the Lima with a live stream glow. Crowley in the morning, Kabbalah after the show. Tree of life behind him, mic turned up just so. Every Sephirah illuminated in a soft blue glow. pose on camera. Chakras in a row. Mute your mind, says John Kitover, and let awareness flow. He reads some ancient wisdom like it dropped last night, then quotes it mid-sentence in a very modern light. Oh, communication is hypnosis. John Kitover counts the seconds, common ceremony. 10 seconds, don't rush it, let the bell begin to ring. Democracy, divinity, and live stream everything. Writing candidate for Congress, pen held like a wand. John Kitover manifests a bill with will and calm. Policy meets prophecy, balance meets the soul. Raise your vibration, also please remember to enroll. He's archiving the moment, every cough, every sigh, turning real-time living into audio supply. Content from the cosmos, produced in sacred space with a mic, a mantra, and a very centered face. Ask him what he's doing, he'll answer nice and slow. I'm documenting consciousness, also hosting a show. Bell rings once for presence, twice for cosmic bliss, 3 times if you forgot to like, subscribe, and coexist. All communication is hypnosis. John Kitover breathes out the moment, grows enormous. 10 seconds, hold the silence, let the live stream roll on through. Ancient truth, modern feeds, John Kitover live for you. Riding, stream rolling, John Kitover live 24/7, 365. There's a man named John Kitover, never blinks an eye, streaming every sunrise, every breath that passes by. Candles on the desk, ancient books stacked high, taught teaching wisdom while the Wi-Fi never died. He's live on Clubhouse, X and Spaces yet unnamed, recording every syllable like silence is a game. Yoga mat unrolling as the holy bell goes ding. John Kitover clears his throat and gently says one thing. All communication is hypnosis. John Kitover smiles, take the deepest breath of the day. Focus 10 seconds, feel eternal when the live stream never ends. Ring the bell, align the stars, and breathe it in again. A magician of the Lima with a live stream glow. Crowley in the morning, Kabbalah after the show. Tree of life behind him, mic turned up just so. Every sapphire illuminated in a soft blue glow. Lotus pose on camera, chakras in a row. Mute your mind, says John Kitover, and let awareness flow. He reads some ancient wisdom like it dropped last night, then quotes it mid-sentence in a Communication is hypnosis. John Kitover counts the seconds, calm and ceremonious. 10 seconds, don't rush it. Let the bell begin to ring. Democracy, divinity, and live stream everything. Writing candidate for Congress, pen held like a wand. John Kitover manifests a bill with will and calm. Policy meets prophecy. Balance meet the soul. Raise your vibration. Also, please remember to enroll. He's archiving the moment. Every cough,
Norma, welcome to Trump War, day number 4.
candidate for Congress, pen held like a wand.
Good Shabbos.
How is it day number 4?
Oh, it's just an arbitrary, number. I just chose 4, not 10. 10, not 11. 10, not, number 4. You don't like the number 4?
I just don't know, when did this war start?
Rabbanu Shalom, it's just an arbitrary number I chose for the sake of quickly creating the room, because if you go to Amir's room, he's on day number 14, or day 15. I'm not sure exactly, but.
It's more like, I think, 18.
Oh. Well, Rabbanu Shalom, what are you doing the rest of the night?
I'm going to have some spaghetti, go out.
Oh, I wanted to share with you the good news. I made a Belgian waffle, and it was incredible.
Oh, that's interesting. You got the batter correct.
The batter correct, and I topped it with tons of Canadian maple syrup, peanut butter, cinnamon. Oh, it was and walnuts. It was heaven.
What's in the batter?
Well, I buy the pre-mixed batter, but I did look at.
Oh,
yeah, I did see how to make it yourself, but
flour, egg, a little bit of baking powder, baking soda, I should say.
Oh, it was a very bloated 24-hour period. I mean, I think I ate all the bread that I had. I ate like bagels and toast and 2 Belgian waffles. I was like, oh,
Wow.
oh, I overdid it. Oh. This is the thing about Trump, is holding back the shock troops before you really decimate them. That's the strategy I would go
It's a
with.
gradual escalation.
I hear people saying exactly what I was saying pre-Gaza invasion. And, you corrected me. You were like, they figured out the way, So if there's a will, there's a way.
Wait, you mean when I said that they've been planning this for 20 years?
No, that, how to get people out of buildings, how to prevent sabotage, how to prevent, your soldiers dying. Israel figured out how to systematically.
Get people out of tunnels, you mean?
That too, yeah, everything.
Everything.
I'm just saying the whole Israeli operation was, a giant learning experience. It's a huge experience.
Well, this is very Jewish. It's like, we'll figure it out, and they go in and they do figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing, El Normo and John? That the whole attention between Israel and Gaza is completely gone. Now it's all focused on Iran. Some people mention the genocide occasionally. Oh my goodness, what genocide? Say again. I was just saying, like, what genocide? There's no genocide, Well, of course there's no genocide. The people are still there. It's a weird claim. It's just something that they want to use to tar Jews. Who are you? Do we know each other? Yeah, I'm the guy that you referenced, the Emperor of Ice Cream, that one poem. Oh, a long time ago. Yeah, it's been a while. You're not Cheever, right? No, not Cheever, no. Tell me your name. What was your name then? So my name then was Chris. So I had a profile photo and everything, but it's been a while. And why did I teach you about that poem? That it was like the first modernist interpretation of like the 20th century.
Well, I would never claim it was the first, but it's a big, important one, super important. And look at his other stuff, because it's really tough to penetrate. And then look at some of the writing about it. It's just a fascinating phenomenon, this, modernity. It kind of starts with T.S. Eliot, too, the idea of impenetrability in poetry rather than accessibility.
Do you have any other recommendations when it comes
besides T.S. Eliot?
Yeah, besides T.S. Eliot, like any other great writers?
Yates. Yeah, again, it's not. He's the guy. He's the slouching towards Bethlehem guy. Oh, it's really good. It's breathtaking. It just changes your life, to me, anyway. And and then you can contrast them with Auden, who rhymes like a normal person, like a normal poet, and is very accessible. Auden has a great poem actually about Freud. Oh, there's somebody who's known as HD. I can't remember her last name. She might just go by HD. She's an interesting sort of side note to the whole Freud thing. Anyway, I've given you a bunch to chew on.
Definitely Yates. That sounds. I've heard that name before.
Yeats.
Yes.
Irish. Yeah. I think it's W.B. Yeats. Yeah. One of the really elite, brilliant Irish poets. He's they're practically a national obsession. Let me just see. Have you ever read Wordsworth?
I haven't. No, thank you for writing all this stuff down.
Turning real time living into audio supply. Content from the cosmos, produced in sacred space with a mind, a mantra, and a very centered face. Ask him what he's doing, he'll answer nice and slow. I'm documenting consciousness, also hosting a show. Bell rings once for presence, twice for cosmic bliss, 3 times if you forgot to subscribe, and coexist. All communication is hypnosis. John Kitover breathes out, the moment grows enormous. 10 seconds, hold the silence, let the live stream roll on through. Ancient truth, modern feeds, John Kitover live for you. Riding, dream rolling, John Kitover.
Factually, this is their impervious.
Even if you're bringing up incredibly logical facts.
Tremendous detail. Yeah. People are still saying that we have no idea why we're in Iran right now, even though all the casus belli, the reasons for the war have been spelled out so clearly. No nukes, no ballistics, no sponsorship of terror, proxies, and no slaughtering your own people. They're such reasonable objectives,
Yeah, especially with Iran, using their own missiles to launch at neighboring countries.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's super weird. It's why would he do that? That's a definite reason why you shouldn't have nukes in the first place. If you're willing to use missiles on neighboring countries.
I got a notification that they just tried to attack Diego Garcia, and then there was an addition, or else Dubai. I'm just not sure. But Dubai has really been taking a beating. I think they really hate Dubai because it's more Western facing and has a peace deal with Israel.
Especially they're liberalizing their women's rights. They can drive cars now, and they're trying to integrate with the globalized economy further. And Iran doesn't.
Well, I don't think women should drive. I agree with them on that one. Well, they're also providing the shadow banking for Iran. So if they haven't done it already, I think they're about to freeze Iran's money, which would really choke them.
Anyway. I think they rail already $1 million to 1 US dollar or something. It's
insane. 40%. Megatron, what's going on? I feel silly.
Ribono Shalom, another Shabbos miracle.
It is Shabbos, for sure.
I'm using Suno.
Megatron works really hard. That's what I know about him. He's a serious hard worker who takes his life seriously, and it's, everything in it.
Well, I'm not really a Jew, but I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so
That's interesting.
yeah, I do, take rest on the seventh day. So I took a bite of Chick-fil-A and never looked back.
Oh boy, that was your meat.
Yes, the spicy
Question in my chest.
sauce. It's
Footsteps, heartbeat, same slow sound. Faith is walking on
try to use us for his YouTube videos.
For some reason, it doesn't bother me at all. I find the whole thing kind of interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have fun doing it. The whole thing is joy in the goal, joy in the experience, and it's been a lot of fun. And I love creating clips of myself addressing a room. If you're in a big room with a lot of people, and then I just free flow a funny shtick and I create a clip, 60 seconds. It's like I'm creating stuff. I'm supposedly in the new economy. And if we live in an information technology, an age of IT, I tell people in IT all the time that I used to work with, I was like, you know what IT stands for? And they'd say, what? Information technology. I go, well, it's not so much the medium. In many ways, it is, what's being said. So I like my book collection. I love mixing what I would call my creation or my art submission to either artists or critics, because today I had somebody laughing because I said, it takes an artist to know an artist, but it takes a critic to, have an artist. So it's like this Taoistic melange, and I just love harvesting here. I am spice mining on Dune, intelligence. And I think a lot of people here kind of are essentially propagandists or Kabbalists, meaning that they know that the milieu they create and the hate they spread is political, and it's a war. And when you realize as an American that this whole country is completely upside down in terms of the demographic for what we would call subversive or either undemocratic and anti-Republican forms of government, and our Constitution specifically calls out a Republican form of government, there's no coincidences, is what I'm trying to say. And if you like synergy and you like to dance and get down and be groovy, well, if you're Irish, is kind of like what I'm trying to say. Irish, I was drunk, but I prefer to kiss me. I'm Irish. It's all a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Opa, welcome to the room.
Where's Timmy Robinson, that Tim guy from Ireland, that Jew hater?
He actually has.
Oh, I know that guy. You mean Mr. Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really sicko. Wait, but I was gonna say, John, before we move on, Zen said he liked occult investigation, so I wanted you to recommend to him.
He recommended The Key of Mysteries.
I was going to recommend something else to you. It's called the Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya.
Tanya, yes. I love the Tanya. It's great. It's fantastic. I wish there was like an audiobook format of it, completely read it. 2015. I just want a full audiobook experience. I think it would be fantastic of the Zohar.
What kind of work do you do then?
So I used to be a glorified paper pusher, but then, in the age of IT, I really feel like all these clerical jobs and white-collar jobs, they're going to kind of disappear. They're like the first ones to go. So I'm making my move to more of a blue-collar profession.
What kind?
Mechanic.
I was going to say, do you fixing cars?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough to automate that. It could happen within maybe 5-10 years, but definitely white-collar jobs, they're going to disappear really soon.
Never say never,
All right, I'm going to move around, guys. It's good to hang out.
Okay, take care,
Thank you for
Elnona.
the agreement.
Rabbanu Shalom. Another miracle. Okay, I'm going to play some new music I created. I hope you enjoy. This is under the account John Kitover 2029. We're already thinking that far ahead. 2029, and we're only Senate, Congress. The options are always available for an aspiring young politician who knows the magic. Listen to this one. This is called Cup of the Sky.
Knock on a door made of your own ribs, dust on your lips, thirst in your eyes. Carry a bucket down to the river lives inside your spine. Drink from the cup of the sky, my heart. Let every question dissolve in light. Wisdom is hiding.
Chris, I got baptized in basically, I would say like a Seventh-day Adventist church. And when I was in the Army, I would go to Seventh-day Adventist services. I went to one. It was probably like the most professional service I went to. But they had all the Christian varieties. And then you could even go to an Islamic service in the military, which is so fucking crazy. But, it's a lot of work being a Seventh-day Adventist. So I salute you, a lot of dedication and time management, because the calendar for a Seventh-day Adventist is robust.
It falls apart. Dance in the ashes of your pride. Drink from the cup in the sky. The reed is hollow. That's why it sings. It bled for the blade that set it free. Be like that flute, emptied and open. Let every loss turn into breeze. Drink from the cup of the sky, my heart. Let every question dissolve in light. Wisdom is hiding in what falls apart. Dance in the ashes of your pride. Drink from the cup in the sky. You search for the sun, holding a candle. You wrestle the waves on a drop of rain. Put down your book, listen to silence. The one you see saying your name. Drink from the cup of the sky, my heart. Let every question dissolve in light. Wisdom is hiding in what falls apart. Dance in the ashes of your pride. Drink from the cup and the sky, my heart. Drink from the cup and the sky.
Okay, it's called Cup of the Sky. So I also like to clip these on YouTube, and it's kind of a cool way to create content, because honestly, Clubhouse is in syndication and in hiatus at the same time. It's pretty much over, I think. I think every conversation, this is like the start to the summer where people begin to back out of their investment into Clownhouse because the scab has been ripped open. The wound is bleeding and it is fresh. This is called Where the Reed Remembers. These were inspired by Rumi, Lao Tzu, somebody else.
Old man in the market measures rice with trembling hands. Lifelines like river maps etched across dry lands. He says, child, this dust once called itself gold. Every king I watched went home the way you go.
I guess that was just a preview. Okay, this is called Circuits of Believing. So we did Lao Tzu, we did Rumi, and the third one was
Empty room, breathing light, question in my chest, answer out of sight, footstep, heartbeat, same slow sound. Faith is walking on, not seeing ground.
okay, go ahead, Stereo. Did you want to play something? Hello?
Drop the neon, flash in motion, heartbeat motor, chemical ocean, running, can't stop running, mirror on mirror, face keeps humming, skyline melting, low frequency hum, baseline breathing, kick drum numb, under the rail, under the wire, silver sweat, electric fire, static, static, static
at the edge of grace. Every fear passing cloud, name it, face it, let it drift back out. Tiny lantern over ocean, one step and another soul. Have you not seen that I become your role? I live into the dark, call it home, call it home. I fall still I know.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Trump War. Fardeen, welcome to the room. Looks like you've got one of those not safe for work profiles, as does Chicago here, and you can't change it if you got these Android phones. Uh-oh, John fucking Kitover is here. That's my favorite profile, John fucking Kitover. Hossein, welcome to the room. This is Trump War. War. All right, I'd like to do a little book reading here. This is your good friend, an alien resident warlord, Megatron, sent from the outer limits of the abyss of hell to give you a book. We read it earlier today. Okay. They have possessed themselves of our ascendant, as Paracelsus says, and where they wish to lead us, we shall go. They are our bad angels.
If I change my phone to Apple, I couldn't change this 18.
Yeah, I know. If you get an Apple phone, you can change your stupid PTR like it's fucking worth it. Are you crazy? Who gives a fuck what your PTR is? Like it matters.
They are bad angels. We know it in the depths of our consciousness, but we put up with them. We have made ourselves their servants, that they also may be ours. Our passions, treated tenderly and flattered, have become slave mistresses, and those who serve our passions are valets and our masters. We breathe out our thoughts and breathe in those of others, imprinted in the astral light which has become their electromagnetic atmosphere, and thus the companionship of the wicked is less fatal to the good than that of the vulgar, cowardly, and tepid beings. Strong antipathy warns us easily and saves us from the contact of gross vices. It is not thus with disguised vices, vices to a certain extent diluted and become almost lovable. An honest woman will experience nothing but disgust in the society of a prostitute, but she has everything to fear from the seductions of a coquette. One knows that madness is contagious, but the mad are more particularly dangerous when they are amiable and sympathetic. One enters little by little into their circle of ideas. One ends by understanding their exaggerations while partaking their enthusiasm. One grows accustomed to their logic that has lost its way. One ends by finding that they are not as mad as one thought at first. Thence to believing that they alone are right, there is but one step. One likes them, one approves of them. One is as mad as they are. The affections are free and may be based on reason, but sympathies are fatalism and very frequently unreasonable. They depend on the more or less balanced attractions of the magnetic light and act on men in the same way as upon animals. One will stupidly take pleasure in the society of a person in whom is nothing lovable, because one is mysteriously attracted and dominated by him. And often enough, these strange sympathies begin by lively antipathies. The fluids repelled each other at first, and subsequently became balanced. The equilibrating speciality of the plastic medium of every person is what Paracelsus calls his ascendant, and gives the name of flagellum to the particular reflection of habitual ideas of each one in the universal light. One arrives at the knowledge of the ascendant of a person by the sensitive divination of the flagellum and by the persistent direction of the will. One turns the active side of one's own ascendant toward the passive side of the ascendant of another, when one wishes to take hold of that other and dominate him. The astral ascendant has been divined by other magi, who gave it to the name of tourbillon, vortex. It is, say they, a current of specialized light, representing always the same circle of images, and consequently determining impressions. These vortices exist for men as for stars. The stars, said Paracelsus, breathe out their luminous souls and attract each other's radiation. The soul of the earth, prisoner of the fatal laws of gravitation, frees itself by specializing itself and passes through the instincts of animals to arrive at the intelligence of man. The active portion of this will is dumb, but it preserves in the writing the secrets of nature. The free part can no longer read this fatal writing without instantaneously losing its liberty. One does not pass from dumb and vegetative contemplation to free vibrating thought without changing one's surroundings and one's organs. Thence comes the forgetfulness which accompanies birth and the vague reminiscences of our sickly intuitions, always analogous to the visions of our ecstasies and of our dreams. This revelation of the great master of occult medicine, there was a fierce light on all the phenomena of somnambulism and of divination. There also, for whoever knows how to find it, is the true key of evocation and of communication with the fluidic soul of the earth. Those persons whose dangerous influence makes itself felt by a single touch are those who make part of a fluidic association, or who either voluntarily or involuntarily make use of a current of astral light which has gone astray. Those, for example, who live in isolation
By the powers of heaven!
gathered together in great number, as is ordinarily the case with shepherds, are possessed of the demon whose name is Legion, and their turn they reign despotically over the fluid souls of the flocks that are confided to their care. Consequently, their goodwill or ill will makes their cattle prosper or die, and this influence of animal sympathy can be exercised by them upon human plastic mediums, which are ill defended, owing either to weak will or limited intelligence. Thus are explained the bewitchments which are habitually made by shepherds, and still quite recent phenomena of the presbytery of Sideville. Sideville is a little village of Normandy where a few years ago were produced phenomena like those which have since occurred under the influence of Mr. Home. M.D. Merville has studied them carefully, and M. Guagenet Desmonsois has reprinted all the details in a book published in 1854. The most remarkable thing in this author is that he seems to divine the existence of the plastic medium, or the fluidic body. We have certainly not two souls, said he, but perhaps we have two bodies. Everything that he says, in fact, would seem to prove this hypothesis. He saw a shepherd whose fluidic form haunted a presbytery, and who was wounded at a distance by blows inflicted on his astral larva.
We're going to show along. Great reading there. Fantastic work. I can tell you increased your astral larvae there substantially. This is Megatron, by the way.
So what sort of understanding or intelligence did you gain from that reading, Megatron?
Okay, I'd like to go back in this book and then meditate over the axioms. And we'll do one at a time, and then we'll discuss it. Each one is just a sentence. This is the first one. Nothing resists the will of man when he knows the truth and wills the good. So, will of man, nothing can resist it. When that man knows what the truth is and wills the good.
Axiom 2 is to will evil is to will death. A perverse will is the beginning of suicide.
Well, I don't, explain Joe Biden to me. I mean, how do these vampires live so long?
What was up with that colon cancer that he was diagnosed with last summer? Kind of mysteriously disappeared, huh?
Yeah, I always like how the elites are always telling us they have cancer, then they look better, more better than ever before. It's like, are you guys trying to put out some kind of NLP about the situation? Hello? I realized communication. What was that?
Ellen DeGeneres and the baby foreskins that she puts on her face. It's kind of crazy.
What was up with the wife too in the ambulance, like coming up?
Yeah.
They took her zombie wife away. What was that about? Okay, so doesn't matter what I was gonna say. Let's go to the next axiom. What does it say?
So the next axiom says, to will good with violence is to will evil, for violence produces disorder, and disorder produces evil.
Well,
As my chef likes to say, can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs.
Is not thus with this guy's devices.
Fourth axiom says one can and one should accept evil as the means of good, but one must never will it or do it. Otherwise, one would destroy with one hand what one builds with the other. Good faith never justifies bad means. It corrects them when one undergoes them and condemns them when one takes them.
These sound pretty smart. You know, compared to most of the stuff that I hear on this app, I'm kind of like flummoxed, almost as if you're updating my AI robot Megatron intergalactic star death system of war. But that's just me. I'm Megatron.
It's the colloidal particles inside your brain that are reformatting themselves.
Well, Megatron is not opposed to Alex Jones' nutraceutical products like Blue Silver, because naturally my blood is made of mercury.
All right, axiom number 5. To have the right to possess always, one must will patiently and long.
Well, I've never been sentenced to prison for more than 5 years, but there was a time in my life when I was on a digital prison platform known as Clown House. It borders the abyss of hell. But I'm just Megatron floating in outer space, preparing for the final apocalyptic battle with my arch nemesis, Optimus Prime!
So here's the 6th axiom. To pass one's life in willing that is impossible to possess always is to abdicate life and accept the eternity of death.
I'm glad Megatron isn't here to listen to this intelligent information, which could make him more powerful than me, Megatron!
Axiom number 8. The more obstacles the will surmounts, the stronger it is. It is for this reason that Christ glorified poverty and sorrow.
What did Darren Lowe do to this guy?
Axiom number 9. When the will is vowed to the absurd, it is reproved by eternal reason. That's an interesting one. I have to think about that one.
I mean, when the will is vowed to the absurd, it is reproved by eternal reason. So the absurd is like the fool, meaning that the Joker basically it's the same thing, that the fool ultimately becomes wise if you persist in the folly. So it's the persistence which is the experience, and Rabbano Shalom, you know.
Makes sense. So, like, if you stubbornly sort of direct your entire will towards something that is fundamentally sort of contradictory to reason, truth, or sort of like the natural divine order, then something that's a higher sort of timeless reason will judge, correct, or punish it eventually. Okay. Axiom number 10. Oh no, it's 9. The will of the just man is the will of God himself and the law of nature. Number 10. Number 10. It is by the will that the intelligence sees. If the will is healthy, the sight is just. God said, "Let there be light," and light is. The will says, "Let the world be as I will to see it," and the intelligence sees it as the will has willed. This is the meaning of the word "so be it," which confirms acts of faith. Axiom 11. When one creates phantoms for oneself, one puts vampires into the world, and one must nourish these children of a voluntary nightmare with one's blood, one's life, one's intelligence, and one's reason, without ever satisfying them. Axiom 12. To affirm and to will what ought to be is to create. To affirm and will what ought not to be is to destroy. Axiom 13. Light is an electric fire put by nature at the service of the will. It lights those who know how to use it and burns those who abuse it. Axiom 14. The empire of the world is the empire of the light. Axiom 15. Great intellects whose wills are badly balanced are like comets, which are aborted suns. They have no direction. Okay. Axiom 16. To do nothing is as fatal as to do evil, but it is more cowardly. The most unpardonable of mortal sins is inertia. This is a little contradictory with the Tao Te Ching. When nothing is done, everything is done, right? I wonder. Okay. Axiom 16. Oh, I already read that. Axiom 17. To suffer is to work. A great sorrow suffered is a progress accomplished. Those who suffer much live more than those who do not suffer. Axiom 18. Voluntary death from devotion is not suicide. It is the apotheosis of the will. Axiom 19. Fear is nothing but idleness of the will, and for that reason public opinion scourges cowards. Axiom 20. Succeed in not fearing the lion, and the lion will fear you. Say to sorrow, I will that you be a pleasure, more even than a pleasure, a happiness. Axiom 21. A chain of iron is easier to break than a chain of flowers. Axiom 22. Before saying that a man is happy or unhappy, find out what the direction of his will has made of him. Tiberius died every day at Capri, while Jesus proved his immortality and even his divinity on Calvary and upon the cross.
Okay, I'm going to read another page or two. Okay, it's page 250. One knows that madness is contagious, but the mad are more particularly dangerous when they are amiable and sympathetic. One enters little by little into the circle of ideas. One ends by understanding.
It's the colloidal particles inside your brain that are reformatting themselves.
Well, Magnetron. That's for TikTok. One enters little by little into the circle of ideas. One ends by understanding their exaggerations, while partaking their enthusiasms. One grows accustomed to their logic that has lost its way. One ends by finding that they are not as mad as one thought at first. Thence to believing that they alone are right, there is but one step. One likes them. One approves of them. One is as mad as they are. The affections are free and may be based on reason, but sympathies are of fatalism, very frequently unreasonable. They depend on the more or less balanced attractions of the magnetic light and act on men in the same way as upon animals. One will stupidly take pleasure in the society of a person in whom is nothing lovable, because one is mysteriously attracted and dominated by him. And often enough, these strange sympathies began by lively antipathies. The fluids repelled each other at first, and subsequently became balanced.
The more obstacles,
Sorry, I'm clipping. You get 59 seconds on YouTube or Yo Utubi.
Megatron, have you read the book Reality is Plastic?
I think so, yeah. I mean, not like, I didn't read it like this, but I think you showed it to me once. But in this book, they talk about the plastic of reality. And I was thinking about it like, in the way that we mold ourselves or we create molds. And every actor is technically just like a mold. And what's it about? I mean, is there something you want to say about it?
No, it kind of relates to like this sort of thing, what he's talking about, like how people's wills are similar to being plastic, what you were saying, being molded.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an image once of somebody who was chiseling themselves out of a block, of marble. So like we're constantly, like our words are basically like the chisel, and it's a question of how we're sculpting ourselves with the words we use. And it's so funny listening to projections on this app when you hear people make really crude, disgusting projections, and you're just like, oh man, this is all projection. People use other people as their totem of projection, and they make certain groups of people evergreen totems. Do you know what evergreen means? Yes, it's the forever calendar. It's our 365 days of evergreen, meaning like it's all pre-planned, and people project um, onto certain people or groups their projection. And I would call those recipients of the projection evergreen, meaning that there's universal projection targets of projectionists. Does that make sense? Hello?
Haven't seen Jazzy around either. It's been a while.
Oh, she's been in chillism. I've been recording her for weeks now.
Doesn't she have a child to take care of?
She's always free in the morning. She's always chirping in the mornings.
Dr. Jazzy.
She's a loud one.
You search for.
Yeah, this is Eliphas Levi. I've read this book before, but I didn't really read it like this. I just kind of picked apart the axioms. But I spent more on this one. This is a purple goat leather bounded book by the Hellfire Club out of London. And I've never really read the whole thing, but what's funny is it was translated by Crowley, but the whole work is actually almost all of Crowley. Maybe the axioms and other parts are Eliphas Levi, but this book is actually all pretty much by Crowley. And it's a really good book. It's very funny. Crowley is a master satirist or satirist, and he's always like mocking the all or nothings, you could call it. It's in the same way that Jazzy goes, hello? Crowley basically was the master of hello? And it's fine. This book's out of the Hellfire Club, so it makes sense, you know?
Have you looked into CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yeah. I've read the Cognitive Distortions Checklist in the Feeling Good Handbook by Dr. So-and-so.
Yeah, I have as well. It's pretty interesting. Cognitive distortions.
Yeah, I really find it useful to read that list and then try to use it as like a reflection list. And you're like, yep. All true. Okay, so this is a book, what is this thing called? A bookmark. It came with the book, but this is the Rights of Man by Crowley, Liber LXXV11, or not sure what that is, Roman numerals. But it says the law of the strong, this is our law and the joy of the world by Oz, O-Z. I don't know if this is Ozymandias, but do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Do that, and no other shall say nay. Every man and every woman is a star. There is no God but man. Number one, man has the right to live by his own law, to live in the way that he wills to do. to work as he will, to play as he will, to rest as he will, to die when and how he will. Number 2, man has the right to eat what he will. Espresso. To drink what he will. To dwell where he will. To move as he will on the face of the earth. Number 3, man has the right to think what he will, to speak what he will, to write what he will, to draw, paint, carve, etch, mold, build as he will, to dress as he will. Number 4, man has the right to love as he will. Take your fill and will of love as ye will. When, where, and with whom ye will. Man, number 5, man has the right to keyword those who would thwart these rights. The slaves shall serve. Love is the law. Love under will.
Beautifully read. I have another book. It's called The Arcane Formulas. In the arcane lessons, you have seen that the individual is but a center of consciousness and force in the great life principle, cosmic will, or spirit, as aphorism 7 has informed you. There is but one life and not many lives. Separateness is but relative and partial, illusory, the creative fiction of the cosmos. In the cosmic will, there is but one life, in which and by which is manifested the many. You've also seen that egohood is evolved and earned, not given as a universal birthright or general natural right of the race. Did I miss some aphorisms? I think I did.
I really want Tesla chip tomorrow.
1 second. I didn't miss any of the aphorisms. The ego is evolved from the personal self. Every living thing possesses a personal self, but even among men, many fail to reach egohood. Egohood is earned, not bestowed, as a universal natural gift. Many personalities are born, but few egos are evolved. Egohood is the state of realization of the ego, the perception and realization of the I am. As an old English writer once said, whether we try to avoid it or not, we must face this reality sometime. the reality of our own egohood, that which makes us say I, and in saying I, leads to the discovery of a new world. The average person is surprised, incredulous, and even indigent when he is informed that but very few of the race really have this awareness or consciousness of the I am within them. He will insist that he is fully aware of the existence of the I, and cannot imagine that anyone can have the audacity to dispute the proposition. But a little self-examination will reveal the fact that he has but the first glimmering of self-consciousness, which is far from being the consciousness of egohood. We have no desire or intention of entering into an extended metaphysical inquiry in these pages, but we must point out to you what egohood is not, as the first step towards showing you what it is, and how it may be acquired. The very elementary life forms have merely the consciousness of something outside, evidenced in sensation or feeling. The atoms manifest a faint degree of awareness, consciousness of other atoms, which is evidenced in attraction and repulsion. There is in a chemical affinity a higher degree of elementary consciousness. The crystals manifest a still higher degree in their activities of building up form. The cell forms of the lowest animal and plant life show an awareness of objects of food and of other forms which seek them for food, and consequently they move toward the first and away from the second. Rising in the evolutionary scale, we find constantly increasing degrees of consciousness. Among the higher animals and the lower forms of men, we find what science has called simple consciousness, which has indicated that awareness of outside objects accompanied by a greater or lesser degree of reasoning regarding them. The dog, horse, and other higher animals give us a typical example of this form of consciousness, which degree is but little surpassed by the less developed of the human race, many of the latter not having advanced further in the scale. Simple consciousness may be described as a state of knowing, but not knowing that one knows. It is a consciousness of outside things received from the senses, and also the physical sensations arising in one's own body. But as a man advanced in the scale, there came to him the degree of consciousness, which is known as self-consciousness, in which the sense of I
Have you
comes to
looked
him.
into CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yeah, I've read the cognitive.
He not only knows,
Have you looked into CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yeah, I've read the cognitive distortions checklist. Feeling good, handled by Dr. So-and-so.
Yeah, I have it as well. It's pretty interesting.
Cognitive self-consciousness to but a limited degree. As a leading psychologist has well said, many persons never have more than a misty idea of such mental attitude. They take themselves for granted and never turn the gaze inward. Self-consciousness, like simple consciousness, has many degrees on its scale. One has but to study his fellow men in order to perceive these varying degrees. We cannot pause here to consider this stage in detail. Our concern is with higher degrees. In a general way, and in order that you may make the clear distinction between simple consciousness and self-consciousness, we suggest that you think of the former as an awareness of the outside world and one's own physical being, and the latter as an awareness of one's own mind, or the former may be thought of as physical consciousness and the latter as mental consciousness. But here and there among the multitude of men are evolved a few who have attained a higher stage of consciousness, the ego consciousness, or the consciousness of egohood, which surpass the physical consciousness and mental consciousness just alluded to, may be styled spiritual consciousness. For the ego consciousness is really the consciousness of spirit in an elementary degree. There are many other and higher degrees. Ego consciousness, or realization of egohood, is more than an awareness of the outside world or of one's own body as distinct from the bodies of others and other things. It is more than even the awareness of one's own mind. Even when this awareness is carried to a high degree of development, it is difficult to describe this plane of consciousness to those who have not attained it, but may be stated as awareness of individuality rather than an awareness of personality. Personality is but a character in which the one life is playing a certain part. As we have said in the arcane lessons, the very word person is derived from the Greek word persona, meaning a mask used by actors. Your personality is merely the part in life you're playing, the John Smith part of you, and consequently, the awareness of personality is merely an awareness or consciousness of your own personal character, just as an actor is aware and conscious of the character of the play he's enacting. If you can imagine the actor forgetting his real self and becoming so earnest and wrapped in the play that he imagines that he really is Hamlet, or Richard III, or Mephistopheles, you may gain a clear idea of the state of consciousness of the man on the plane of personal consciousness. When he shakes off the illusion and realizes that he is something more than the assumed character, when you awaken to the fact that you are something more than John Smith, then the personality is seen to be in reality, but an assumed character or a mask used by actors. The consciousness of individuality is an awareness by man that he is above the limits and characters of personality, that he is a center of consciousness and force in the one cosmic life. This awareness must, however, be more than a mere intellectual sort of attainment in the teaching to that effect, or an agreement with some teacher, important as these steps are in approaching the realization. There are but foothills above which tower the mountains of the real cosmic knowing. The individual must know that he is an individual, just as he knows anything that he has experienced. For indeed, he must really experience the fact that he is an ego center in the cosmic life or spirit. He must realize that he is more than the body and mind, that he is indeed spirit in spirit. No mere intellectual acquaintance or understanding will supply the real experience of egohood. It is not necessary for one to have attained cosmic consciousness or the awareness of his identity with the cosmic spirit as a whole to gain egohood. This experience belongs to a higher stage. The individual must, however, experience the realization that he is an ego, a spiritual entity, before he attains egohood. Many grow into this stage naturally by slow and gradual steps. In fact, all development must be along natural lines. One cannot be dragged or pulled up into this stage. One must grow into it naturally, as the plant develops and blooms into a flower. And here is an important point, and one upon which depends the usefulness of these lessons. There are many who are ready and prepared to throw off the sheath of personality and to enter into the fuller life of egohood, who are struggling with the confining bonds of personality, which they find hard to throw off. To these, and to these only, the methods and exercises herein given will appeal, if they appeal to you, if they attract you, and you hunger to put them into effect. Then know that you are ready for them, and ready to throw off the confining sheaths that are binding you and holding you back. As we proceed, you will see that in this realization of egohood lies the secret of attainment, the key of power. Before you can exercise the power of spirit, you must realize that you are spirit. Spirit is the essence of the cosmos. The ego is a focal point or center in that essence.
Excellent work, Zen. You have brought much Zen to Megatron, whose life has been rather stressful trying to conquer the galaxy as an AI sentient megabot. The Decepticons are always disappointing me. They're not the best army the universe has ever seen, let me tell you. So thank you for that, Zen.
Here's the second chapter, establishing ego I. To establish is to settle or fix firmly, to make steady, firm, or stable, to place upon a firm foundation, to ordain permanently and with authority, etc. Therefore is this formula, one of the oldest known to occultism, called establishing the ego. Its mastery imparts the sense and power of firm settlement and steady foundation of the consciousness of the ego, the identification of the self with the self. The arcane teachers instruct the neophyte that he must first of all develop this awareness of the ego by degrees, until at last the ego consciousness may become the habitual and natural consciousness at all times and under all conditions. Once firmly fixed, the ego consciousness never leaves one. Once found, it becomes a tower of strength in which one may ever take refuge from the trials of the personal life, and from which one may safely defy the things of personality. The first step of the formula is that of acquiring a clear, distinct, positive, and absolute realization that the ego is not the body or physical organism, but is superior to and master of them. Even though students who have entered the plane of mental consciousness require additional drilling in order to escape completely and fully from the bonds of the physical body, the following exercise is recommended for this purpose. Here's the exercise. Let the neophyte place himself in a quiet place, away from disturbances and distracting influences of the outside world. Let him assume a position of rest, relaxing the tension from muscles and nerves. Then, let him fix his attention upon his physical body, first the body as a whole, and then beginning at the feet. Let him move the attention upward until the whole body has been included in attention, step by step, until the brain is reached. During this process, the neophyte will become aware, by degrees, that he is something inside the body, viewing and considering the latter in all of its details, instead of being identical with the body. There will be found a dawning realization that the body is but a physical envelope, or sheath, in which the ego dwells, or a garment which the ego has assumed for the conveniences of physical life. This realization will not come out all at once, but will gradually dawn upon, and in the consciousness increasing by practice. When a degree of proficiency and realization in the stage has been acquired, then may the neophyte proceed to the next stage as follows. Let the neophyte now concentrate his attention upon his feet until he is able to regard them as but tools or instruments whereby the ego may walk in physical form. Then let him, using his imagination, realize that even if his feet were not there attached to the body, the ego would still be fully existent and in being, that although deprived of useful tools, the ego would still be the ego, unimpaired and undisturbed in its real being. Then bring the entire lower limbs into attention, and after fixing them firmly in the consciousness, let the neophyte realize that these limbs are but instruments for physical progress, useful and important, but not indispensable to the being and the reality of the ego. Let him see that if these limbs were not there, that the ego would still be complete and fully existent. Then let the neophyte bring into attention the pelvic organs, the reproductive organism, etc., and after realizing their uses and purposes important to physical life, let him realize that the integrity and being of the ego is in no way dependent upon them. Let him in imagination separate himself from them in consciousness, and thus realize that even if that part of the body were removed and missing, nevertheless the ego would be fully existent in its entirety of being. Then let the neophyte in a similar manner consider the abdominal organs, the stomach, liver, etc., and while realizing their value and utility in physical life, let him also realize that they too are but physical instruments of the ego for certain purposes, and that the ego would dwell unimpaired in being, existence, and reality were they absent. Then let the neophyte likewise consider the chest organs, the lungs, etc., and while respecting and realizing their usefulness and wonderful adaptability to purpose, Also realize that the ego would be full, existent, and real, even if these organs or parts of the body were absent. Then let the neophyte pass on the consideration of the head with its various organs of sense, its brain centers and convolutions, the machinery of thought, and then realize that although it would be impossible to live as a physical being in the body without these organs, still, if they were absent, the ego would still be the ego, complete, existent in reality with integrity unimpaired. Then let the neophyte again consider the whole body as one organism, the wonderful instrument of the ego, adapted for physical life, but let him fully realize that this wonderful machinery is but a created machine in and through which the ego manifests physical life and activity, and that the ego is above, independent of, and apart from the physical body in the true sense, for it may dwell apart from and out of the body. After performing these mental exercises, throw the mind into and over the entire body and into and through all of its parts. The purpose of this concluding process being to re-energize the physical organism, which has, in a measure, become devitalized during the analytical process. You'll find that you'll be able to recharge the body with vitality and make it stronger and more virile than it was before the exercise. After you once realized that it was but an instrument or machine which is used by and directed by the ego, the realization of the mastery of the body by the ego brings with it a new power of energizing and vitalizing the body or any part thereof. Throwing the attention to the parts of the body after this realization has been gained tends to direct the particular parts and increase supply of virile or vital energy. After having mastered the above exercise to a satisfactory degree, let the neophyte pass on to the following exercise.
Ribbana Shalom. What a beautiful little reading there. I got a little book here from Israel. I don't know if you know about it. Very powerful magic. Very interesting, powerful Megatron magic. This is the morning service, and it says, "And there shall come for Zion a Redeemer, and for those who turn aside from transgression, saith the Eternal. And as for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Eternal, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have placed in thy mouth shall not depart from thy mouth, nor from the mouth of thy children and thy children's children, saith the Eternal, from now until evermore. But thou art holy, dwelling amid the praises of Israel. One calleth unto another, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Eternal of hosts. The whole earth is replete with his glory. And they receive from one another the word and say, Holy is the highest, holy in the highest heaven of heavens, the abode of his glory. Holy upon earth, the work of his might. Holy to eternity, forever and ever, is the Eternal of hosts. Replete is all the earth with the refulgence of his glory. And the blast uplifted me, and I heard behind me, in a great rushing sound, Blessed be the glory of the Eternal, from his dwelling place, and a blast uplifted me, and I heard behind.
John, it's 11:22. It was really fun catching up. Reading some great wisdom. It's getting a little late, but appreciate everything.
Okay, God bless. Have a great weekend. Take care. Okay, I'm going to put some music back on. This is Megatron.
Watch the candle wax strip slow. Follow every little falling glow. Finger on your wrist, one tap. Sliding down your spine like a map. Down, down, deeper you go. Eyes half open, breathing slow. Everyone's a little rope pulling you under. Down, down, nothing to prove. Thoughts get heavy, walls. Powerful war song of Megatron, the supreme master and commander of the known light universe. But you, who have defied the law, you who have conquered by subtlety, your force, I am the God who giveth all. 20 I ask you to sacrifice. Nothing at mine altar. I am the God who giveth all. 20 with light, love, force, fantasy, fire. These do I bring you. Mine hands are full of these. There is joy in the setting out. There is joy in the journey. There is joy in the goal. 20 things. Only if ye are sorrowful, or weary, or angry, or discomforted, then ye may know the golden thread. The thread wherewith I guide you to the heart of the groves of Eleusis. My disciples are proud and beautiful. They are strong and swift. They rule their way like mighty conquerors. 25. The weak, the timid, the imperfect, the cowardly, the poor, the tearful. These are mine enemies, and I am come to destroy them. This also is compassion, an end to the sickness of earth, a rooting out of the weeds, a watering of the flowers. 25. Oh, my children, ye are more beautiful than the flowers. Ye must not fade in your season. 28. I love you. I would sprinkle you with the divine dew of immortality.